I hope I deserve this. Truly I do. I hope I'm wrong. Goodbye, old friend.
Fans have argued for years about whether Varys deserved this death. That's the wrong question. The right question is how he made it this far at all. Because a friendless, foreign-born eunuch with no army and no name should have died 40 years before this beach. Under the Mad King, who burned men for a whisper. Under Robert, whose reign began by erasing the old court. Under Joffrey and Cersei, who executed honesty on the steps of a sept. 3 rulers, 3 purges, 1 survivor. And look at him. Rings off. Waiting. Calm. Like a man keeping an appointment he booked decades ago. He knew exactly how his story would end, because he had followed one rule long enough to know exactly what breaking it costs. This is the story of that rule, and of the morning he finally broke it. Let's start with the version everyone believes. Varys survived because he was useful. Every king needs a spy master, so every king kept the spy master. Except that's not how this world works. Being useful is what got people killed. I mean, think about it. You remember Jaime's story in the bathhouse?
Burn them all, he said.
The Mad King who saw traitors in every shadow, who burned men alive for sport, whose last words were burn them all? In that court, competence looked like ambition, and ambition looked like a threat. The better you were at your job, the sooner you burned. So how does a foreign-born eunuch, no family, no army, no friends, become the one man Aerys trusts? Because Varys understood something nobody else at court did. A paranoid king doesn't want good counsel. He wants confirmation. He wants someone to tell him his fears are real. So the whispers Varys sold Aerys weren't calming him down, they were feeding him. The man we remember as the realm's gentle servant helped keep the Mad King mad. Then Robert takes the throne. New regime. Targaryen loyalists hunted to the edges of the world. The old court's spy master should be the first head on a spike, and instead, he's sitting at the new king's small council, giggling at jokes. And stay with me here, because by the end of this video, you're going to realize that the famous riddle Varys tells Tyrion, the one everyone quotes,
Power resides where men believe it resides. It's a trick, a shadow on the wall.
Was never philosophy at all. It's a confession. And once you hear it that way, you'll never hear it any other way. Because here's where the show hands us the receipt. Season 1, Episode 5. Arya, chasing cats through the dungeons, hears 2 voices in the dark.
The wolf and the lion will bid each other's throats. We will be at war soon, my friend.
That's Varys, Robert's trusted counselor. In a secret tunnel, with a foreign magister, casually plotting the collapse of the kingdom he's sworn to serve, timing a war like he's scheduling dinner. Now hold that scene in your head and ask the obvious question. A child overheard this. Ned was warned there were plots against the king. The court was crawling with people hunting traitors, and nothing ever touched Varys. Not a suspicion, not a glance. And one more thing about that tunnel. There were 2 voices in it. Remember the second one, the fat magister from across the sea. Hold on to him, because he comes back at the very end of this video, and when he does, he rewrites everything you're about to watch. But first, why? Because of what he is on paper. Look at him the way the court looks at him. No lands, no house, no sword, no family to avenge, no sons to inherit, no name to restore. In a world where every threat travels through bloodlines and ambition, a eunuch is the one man no ruler ever needs to kill. His mutilation, the most humiliating thing that ever happened to him, is the greatest armor in Westeros. Aerys, Robert, Cersei, they all looked at Varys and saw a creature with nothing left to fight for. He could commit treason in a tunnel under the Red Keep, out loud, and remain untouchable. Because the idea of the powdered eunuch wanting anything was unthinkable. They didn't spare him, they dismissed him. And he built the dismissal himself, brick by perfumed brick. If the powdered eunuch just stopped being the comic relief of the small council and became the most deliberate survival machine in Westeros, that's the moment people on this channel hit like. Not because I asked, because a whisper just landed, and you want to mark where you heard it. Hi, I'm Nick. You're watching Cynic Cults. And we're just getting started, because everything I just showed you, the harmless servant, the man with nothing, is a performance. And there's one story Varys tells, sitting in a quiet room with Tyrion, that cracks the mask wide open. He seems to be sharing a tragedy. He's actually confessing to something much darker.
I have no doubt the revenge you want will be yours in time. If you have the stomach for it.
Season 3. Varys tells Tyrion how he became a eunuch. A boy sold to a sorcerer. Drugged, sliced, root and stem in his own words. His parts burned in a brazier, and then the detail everyone remembers. A voice answering from the flames.
But the sorcerer called, and a voice answered.
Remember that voice. In 3 minutes, a stranger is going to walk into a room and prove it was real. Most viewers hear a sob story, a broken man explaining why he hates magic. But watch what's actually happening in that room. As he speaks, Varys opens a crate, and inside is the sorcerer, alive.
Sorcerer.
Hello, my old friend.
Delivered to King's Landing after a lifetime of searching, a street orphan decided he would one day hold his torturer's life in his hands, and then spent decades crossing 2 continents until he could.
But influence is largely a matter of patience, I have found.
That's not a survivor's story. That's a predator's resume. And he tells it with the same pleasant, papery calm he wears at council. Because this isn't a confession, it's a demonstration. He's showing Tyrion what his patience looks like when it finally arrives. You see, everything about Varys is that controlled. Every giggle, every shrug, every powdered apology. Which is exactly why one scene 3 seasons later matters more than almost anything else the show ever gave us about this man. Volantis, Season 6. A Red Priestess walks in and takes the conversation somewhere Varys didn't script.
Do you remember what you heard that night when the sorcerer tossed your parts in the fire? You heard a voice call out from the flames. Do you remember?
Now, I've got to pause here because Conleth Hill's performance in this scene is quietly one of the best in the entire show. Watch his face. This is a character who has verbally dismantled kings, queens, and Littlefinger, and for the first time in 6 seasons, he has nothing. No comeback, no giggle. His jaw tightens, his eyes go somewhere far away, and the mask just fails. The man who is never surprised is terrified, because she knows things she cannot know, and because the voice in the flames, the thing he built his whole rational, magic-hating worldview around denying, just got confirmed as real, out loud, by a stranger. The performance is the costume. That scene is the only time we see it slip, and the thing is, the books quietly hand us the receipt that the costume goes even deeper. For years, a stubbled, wine-reeking turnkey named Rugen worked the black cells beneath the Red Keep. After Tywin's death, the trail leads to a hidden stash, an abandoned post, and the slow realization that Rugen and Varys were the same man. Bald, lavender-scented Varys, playing a stinking jailer, for years, under everyone's nose. So understand what that means. We have never actually met Varys. We've met a character he plays. But if you really want to see behind the mask, don't look at Varys. Look at his network, the famous little birds. Because there's a hole in that story so big that once you see it, you cannot unsee it. And the scene that exposes it is one you've already watched, probably without realizing what you were looking at. Here's what we're told. Varys runs a network of orphan children, his little birds, who slip through the hidden tunnels of the Red Keep, listening. Sweet children, paid in candied plums. Harmless. Season 6, Episode 10. Grand Maester Pycelle follows a little boy down into a dark cellar, and the walls start moving.
But sometimes before we can usher in the new, the old must be put to rest.
And then the children come out of the shadows, silent, calm, dozens of them, and they stab a Grand Maester of Westeros to death. Small hands, small knives, No hesitation, no words. Not one child flinches, not one child speaks. Everyone remembers that scene as Qyburn's moment. But think about what you actually watched. Qyburn didn't build that, he inherited it. Those are Varys' little birds, recruited by Varys, trained by Varys, shaped by Varys. And the first time the show puts them fully on screen, they operate like a single organism. One mind, many hands. That's not a spy network, that's a hive. And here's the part the show never explains. How do dozens of small children coordinate a killing in total silence? How does a network of orphans across an entire city never once leak, never betray, never sell a secret to Littlefinger, who buys everyone? The books make it stranger, not simpler. There, the little birds have had their tongues removed, and Varys prefers children who can read and write. Sit with that for 10 seconds. If they're literate, cutting out their tongues protects nothing. Hand one of them chalk, and they can sell every secret they've ever heard by sundown. As security, the mutilation is useless. So what if it was never security? What if it's preparation? This is where I'll be straight with you. We're stepping into theory now, but watch how much it explains. In the books, we learn the rules of skin changing. Slipping into an animal is natural, but slipping into a human is an abomination. And it only truly works on a broken will. A whole mind fights you out. A shattered one lets you in. Children, bought as slaves, mutilated, traumatized into hollow, silent obedience. The theory says Varys isn't collecting spies, he's collecting vessels. And if that sounds insane, remember something the show itself gave you. The three-eyed raven, the old man in the tree teaching Bran to live inside other creatures. In the books, that man has a name, a past, and a former job title. Brynden Rivers, once the most feared spy master in Westeros. The realm called him the man with 1,000 eyes in one, and his little birds had wings. Varys isn't the first master of whisperers whose network wasn't a metaphor. He's the second. Varys built an empire out of whispers that could never be traced back to him. YouTube hands you something similar. 3 signals a week the algorithm actually listens to. It's called hype, and most people never spend theirs at all. Varys would call that leaving a knife on the table. If what you just saw, the birds, the hive, the blades in the dark, exists nowhere else on this platform, spend one whisper here. That's how a channel with no house and no army takes a castle. But whispers and birds still don't answer the biggest question of all. Because there's one scene at the very end of the show where Varys finally does the thing he spent 40 years refusing to do. He picks a side.
But if you let me live, I will serve you well. I will dedicate myself to seeing you on the Iron Throne because I choose you.
Openly, in daylight. He doesn't survive the week. And the way it happens proves everything this video has argued. Season 7. Daenerys demands to know why she should trust a man who betrayed 2 kings.
If he dislikes one monarch, he conspires to crown the next one. What kind of a servant is that?
And Varys gives the speech of his life.
You wish to know where my true loyalties lie? Not with any king or queen, but with the people.
Not any crown, not any throne, the people, the realm. It's the same answer he gave Ned Stark in Season 1.
What do you want? Tell me. No riddles, no stories. Tell me, what do you want?
Peace.
The same answer he gave Tyrion. For 8 seasons, the good of the realm is the flag this man waves. And every ruler he serves believes some version of it. That the spider belongs to the system itself. Loyal to the wheel. Belonging to no one. But here's the truth. Watch his actual record. Under Aerys, he feeds the paranoia that tears the realm apart. Under Robert, he's in a tunnel timing a Dothraki invasion. Under Joffrey, he helps the realm bleed through 5 kings. For a servant of peace, an astonishing amount of war follows this man around, and he's never once standing where it lands. Because that was the rule. The one rule that kept him alive through 3 reigns. Never be seen choosing. Whisper, nudge, arrange. But the moment the court can point at you and say, he wants something, you're a player. And players die. And if you doubt how cold that rule runs, remember Tyrion's trial. Varys, the man Tyrion protected, worked with, trusted, walks into that courtroom and calmly testifies against him.
He said, perhaps you should speak more softly to me then. Monsters are dangerous, and just now kings are dying like flies.
And when Tyrion, gutted, reminds him of the promise that Varys once swore the histories would never mention Tyrion, but he would never forget what he did for this city, Varys doesn't deny it.
Have you forgotten, Lord Varys?
Sadly, my lord, I never forget a thing.
That's the rule in action. He liked Tyrion. It didn't matter. The court was counting sides that day. So the spider stood exactly where survival stood and let his friend fall. Which brings us back to where this video began, the beach at Dragonstone. Because if you want proof that this rule was the entire secret, look at the one time he broke it. Final season. Varys watches Daenerys slide toward fire and decides, openly, recklessly, to back Jon Targaryen. He writes letters. He recruits in daylight. He tells Tyrion to his face. After 40 years of shadows, the spider steps into the light and picks a side. He's dead within an episode. And now you know exactly what you were looking at in the first 10 seconds of this video. Just look at him in that scene. No panic. No begging. He takes off his rings and waits for the dragon like a man keeping an appointment he made decades ago. Because he already knows the math. He's watched it kill everyone else. Visible loyalty is a death sentence. It was true for Ned. It was true for every player in this game. The moment Varys became visible, Westeros did to him what it does to everyone who picks a side. The exception finally proved his own rule. And the books? The books whisper an even darker version of the man, and I'll flag it clearly as theory, that the sorcerer who mutilated him paid gold for that specific boy, because his blood was worth burning. King's blood. That the bald head he keeps shaved his whole life is hiding the same thing Egg's bald head hid. Silver hair. And now the second voice from the tunnel comes back. The fat magister. Illyrio. Because the boy those 2 men spent 20 years grooming for the throne across the sea, the theory says he carries their own family's blood. In that version, the good of the realm wasn't even a lie he told kings. It was the cover story for the longest con in Westeros. He didn't refusing to pick a side. He was the side. But show or books, tinfoil or not, either version lands on the same verdict. The neutrality was the weapon.
3 great men sit in a room, a king, a priest, and a rich man. Between them stands a common sellsword. Each great man bids the sellsword kill the other 2. Who lives, who dies?
Everyone quotes this riddle, and most people file it away as clever cynicism. Varys the philosopher, musing about shadows. That's not what it is. It's an autobiography. Because look at the riddle again. The king, the priest, the rich man, they're the players everyone watches. Robert, the High Sparrow, Tywin, crowns, gods, gold. But the riddle was never about them. The entire question turns on the 4th man, the common one. No crown, no gold, no name worth remembering. The sellsword is Varys, and the riddle's real answer, the one he never says out loud, is that the person everyone forgot to count is the only person actually deciding who lives and who dies.
Power resides where men believe it resides. It's a trick, a shadow on the wall.
Because at the end of the day, That's what this character spent 8 seasons teaching us. Power isn't a crown or an army. Power is a story people agree to believe. And the survivors aren't the ones holding the sword. They're the ones telling the story. Every court, every office, every family has its kings and priests and rich men, burning bright and burning out. And somewhere in the corner of every one of them, there's someone quiet, patient, underestimated. Someone who figured out that being invisible isn't a weakness, it's a position. But here's what I want to know from you. Standing on that beach, taking off his rings, was Varys the last honest man in Westeros, finally dying for the realm he always claimed? Or a gambler who simply lost the only bet he ever made in the open? And remember, at the start of this video, I called "Did he deserve it?" the wrong question. That was before you knew what he was. Now you do. So answer it properly. Did the spider deserve better than the dragon? Let me know what you think in the comments. This is the part where most channels beg you to subscribe. I won't. But if you walked into this video seeing a bald man who giggles at council meetings, and you're walking out seeing a survivor who outplayed 3 courts by weaponizing his own humiliation, then you already think like we do here. We're building an empire of people who watch a scene once for the story and 10 times for the truth. And if you're still here, you're already one of us. You know what to do. Varys won the game by disappearing. But there was another man at that same council table, playing the exact same game in reverse, and he pulled off something nobody has noticed in over a decade. Remember the black cells from this video? Rugen's dungeon, the spider's own web? There was an assassin sitting in it. A faceless man, caught like a common pickpocket, loaded onto the one convoy that was supposed to carry Ned Stark to the wall. Someone paid to put him there. And every clue points to Littlefinger, because once you see it, Ned's execution stops being a mad boy's mistake and becomes the cheaper version of a plan that was already bought. That full breakdown is right here. See you there. Until then, stay cult.